What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Finally, today, from Star Wars, the Black Series, we are taking a look at MOFF GIDEON. It has been an absolute pain to track this figure down. I'm sure most of you know out there that pre-orders have been getting delayed a lot for this guy for a lot of people, and of course finding him in the wild, as he is a very desirable character to own, has also been a pain. But luckily, Justin, while at a local Target, got there right in time when a brand new fresh minty case was being put out, so he was able to get a MOFF GIDEON for himself and one for me. So thank you, brother, I appreciate it. But now let's move forward here and take a look at the package. Of course, this is the new Star Wars The Black Series package. You have Star Wars The Mandalorian right there. MOFF GIDEON, Hasbro logo, of course a window to see the figure. You have the logo at the top of the box. On the side here, some really nice art of the MOFF. Of course, on the back of the box, we have the logo and then the bio. Let's go ahead and pause it and read it if you would like. And he is number 8 in the Mandalorian subline. And of course, here is a image of the same art that's on the side of the box. On the bottom, here's the barcode. Of course, we have the small logo on this side of the box as well. Nothing on the top, so let's go ahead. We're going to get this guy open. We'll take a look at the accessories and then the figure itself. Okay, first up here, we have his blaster, which is a new mold for the Black Series. I don't believe we have seen this particular blaster before, but it looks relatively nice. It's just in some black plastic there. There's no paint apps at all, which of course, unfortunately, seems to be becoming the new norm for the line. But you can see the sculpt work and the details are there, and it looks pretty good. And of course, there's storage for it right on the belt. Next up, we have the Dark Saber here, which I was so excited to finally get this in the Black Series. Feel like we've been waiting forever to have an official Dark Saber. Here it is. I think they did a pretty decent job at trying to emulate the effect of the Dark Saber. You know, for what it is, a 6-inch scale Dark Saber, I'm happy with it. Now, the real question is, who do I give it to? Do I give it to Sabine? Do I let the MOFF hold it? Din Djarin? There's so many choices. Maul? I don't know who I want to give the Dark Saber to. So comment down below. Let me know which Black Series figure you think I should give the Dark Saber to. And here's a close-up of the handle there, and it looks pretty accurate to the show. It does appear to be cast in a dark gray plastic. It looks pretty black on camera, but in real life, I would say it's more of a just dark gray. And of course, the blade here is removable. And last but not least, I typically don't consider these to be accessories, but here is Moff's cape. It actually comes not attached to him in the package here, so you can see both sides of it here. It is black plastic. It does have some texturing details on it if you look closely there. I do appreciate the sculpt here. It looks pretty accurate to the show. Of course, it's got the red on the inside, and that also features that same texturing there. And of course, you can see the peg for where it plugs in. I think it's all right. Of course, always would prefer soft goods, but clearly we are no longer getting that in the Black Series line. Here you go. You can see he's got a peg right there, and let's go ahead and line it up. Put it on. There you go. It stays on there pretty well. I've found myself, though, when I've been posing this guy around, that I do hold it in place just in case, because I'm sure, you know, you start posing and trying to finagle the figure, it's just going to pop right off because of the way it has to rest. But I think this is where you'll see a benefit from having a plastic cape, is that it lays on his shoulders correctly. I think if Hasbro did like a mass-produced soft goods cape for this guy, it obviously wouldn't have like a bendy wire in it or anything, so it would probably, you know, just not look right. So, you know, there's always a positive and a negative when it comes to the soft versus the plastic goods cape, at least on a mass-produced level. So there you go. There was a look at his accessories. I would have to say, of course, without a doubt, the best accessory is the Dark Saber. Super happy to finally have an official version. So now let's go ahead and take a look at MOFF GIDEON. All right, and here is Moff Gideon out of the packaging, looking like a total sinister badass, just like he is in the show. I definitely think once I got this figure in real life, the photoreal definitely doesn't quite look as horrendous as those original promo pictures. I still think it is off just a little bit, but overall, I think this figure represents the character well. I mean, you know who it is. I'm sure if you had a friend or a family member who didn't collect that saw this figure on the shelf, they would know it's Moff Gideon if they, saw the show. But at the end of the day, I'm just super happy to finally have this character for my Mando display. He's been missing for a long time, so let's go ahead. We'll get him off the stand, take a closer look at those details. All right, and here we are, up close and personal, and you can see a pretty decent look at that photoreal head. He does, unfortunately, have some of that sheen that we've been seeing on the recent photoreal heads, which I have no idea why Hasbro has been doing that. They really need to cut it out. At least on my copy of Moff here, you can see this side of his face, pretty shiny. Go over to this side of his face, it's matte. So I don't quite know what is going on here. Clearly they can't make up their mind as on this particular copy of Moff. I don't know how widespread that might be, but I got a 50-50 here. So I got a little bit of matte and a little bit of shine. But I think overall you can tell it's Giancarlo Esposito. Definitely when you see like the side profile here, I think you can really see the likeness. Straightforward though, yeah, it definitely could be better. But let's take a quick closer look here. You can see his hair sculpt is pretty accurate to the character, the slicked back look there. So that is appreciated. Of course, we've got his armor here. Moving down a little bit further, there's some bits of red paint, some nice texturing details for the clothes underneath, some really nice wrinkles on the arms. The red paint there is printed on all right. You can see right here where there's definitely a little bit of paint mist on the sculpt there. But of course, looking at a distance, it's going to be just all right. You can see the belt also features some really nice sculpt work here and some clean paint application for the red line. And he has red lines on his costume running throughout on the arms and the legs as well, as you can see. Here's a look at the back of the figure. Over on the arms, you can see he actually does have some nice gauntlet style sculpted work going on there. And I love the way the gloves look too. The sort of fingerless, and they almost have like a tactical look to them. Moving down to the legs here, you can see the same level of sculpt is going on here. It looks really nice. It looks like ruffled clothing there. And of course, we've got his boots here down at the bottom, which the foot part is shiny, this part is dull. Another thing that's just kind of like like why? It's just a mild inconvenience. And you can see throughout that this figure does have some shiny plastic in certain parts where you'd obviously think it would be more matte, specifically on the legs right here. But overall, that is really just a lot of nitpicky stuff. I still think costume-wise, likeness-wise, this is Moff Gideon. This is a pretty good representation of the character. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Starting out with the head, of course, the Moff can look up about that far. He can look down just ever so slightly. He does have the neck peg, and he also has the top peg here, but there's still not a lot of range to be had out of it. So that is slightly disappointing here. Of course, you can exorcist him around. You don't really get any side to side there. The arms do move up pretty far though. The shoulder pads are nice and soft, so they get out of the way, which is really nice design work from Hasbro there. I love that they've been doing that sort of across the board. And I'm sure his arms would have even higher range, but for the purposes of my reviews, I never heat the figures up because I want to show you what you get right out of the package. Of course, the arm rotates around. No butterfly joints, which is just a little disappointing as he is a sword-wielding character. Single jointed elbows that give you more than 90 degrees there. Swivel at the elbow. Trigger finger hand has a wrist that rotates and also has the vertical hinge there. And then we also get a gripping hand that rotates and has the horizontal hinge, which is a little bit of a bummer because this is clearly the Darksaber holding hand. But I like the vertical joint more, so I put the Darksaber in this hand so I could have that sort of posability because I think that looks much better for sword-wielding characters. For the crunch here, that's about what you get forward, not much. And of course, in typical Black Series fashion, you can get more going back than you can going forward. Of course, it twists around, and you do have some side to side there as well. With Moff's foot on the ground here, this is how high he can kick up. So this is, of course, a nice soft plastic that gets out of the way there. He can kick back this far. Splits bill about this much. You do get thigh swivel. A single jointed knee there that gives you just 90 degrees, but it does have that nice little hidden flap, so when it's closed like this, it's really nice looking and doesn't break up the sculpt at all. I really like knees like this. I'll take single jointed knees if it means that the front of the figure can look so clean. Of course, swivel at the knee, and down to the feet here, you can see that they go down very far. They go up a decent amount. He does have ankle pivot there as well, and of course, does have peg holes, because not all Black Series figures have peg holes for some reason. So there we go. There's a look at Moff's articulation. Pretty standard fare for a Black Series figure. Nothing new or really exciting there. There is still a decent amount, although of course I wish the neck joint could have worked out a little bit better, and where the butterfly joints. So let's go ahead. We're gonna place Moff all the way back here, and I will go ahead and show you how he scales. First up here, we have a couple of Stormtroopers. We have my custom Remnant Trooper there on the old Stormtrooper body and the Target exclusive Remnant Trooper on the new body. Here he is, of course, with Greef Karga and Queel, and I looked it up. Carl Weathers is 6'2". Like I said, Giancarlo Esposito is 5'8". So I think that's a pretty decent scale right there. Then here he is with Beskar Mando and Cara Dune. Then with Grogu and Thrawn. Then with the Black Series Death Trooper, and then the Bandai Model Kit Shadow Stormtrooper. Then with the SH Figuarts IG-11 and the Rogue One Tank Pilot. Then with the movie realization Bandai Shadow Stormtrooper and the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper. And last but not least, we have the Diamond Select Boba Fett and the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes. So there you have it, folks. There was my review for the Black Series Moff Gideon. Overall, I think this figure definitely could use a few minor tweaks, but ultimately is still a very solid release. Definitely one that you need on your shelf. So what do you guys think of this figure? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about action figures here on the channel. Of course, I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.